ESP331 The role of feedback on student learning. The 3-week learning sequence was designed for 2 students that had very specific goals and needs. Both students suffer from asthma and often fatigue very quickly. The goal was to improve their breathing in order to be able to run stronger for a longer period of time. The students requested for techniques to control their breathing as well as improving their overall endurance. With school cross-country just around the corner, this was an early start on their training to peak for the event. The first lesson was theory-based and focused on discussing different techniques, training principles, and getting to know the students' medical history. This was a great opportunity to gauge the students' current understanding of training principles and training experience to create the base for the following lessons. The second lesson was designed to get the students thinking about their running technique and how to maximise their efficiency. Using huddle technique gave the students a chance to review and analyse their personal running technique. It was a great opportunity for the students to see themselves running from all different angles. By doing this, they were able to highlight any strengths and weaknesses that will help them improve going forward. The third and final lesson was designed to provide the students with a different type of training compared to their standard long distance running. This high intensity interval circuit was designed by the students in the first lesson, and now they have the opportunity to put it to the test and see how effective it is. The assessment piece for the first lesson was to use the training principles discussed to create a high intensity interval training circuit. This required the students to be able to apply their knowledge to a real life scenario and create something that was specific for someone that also has asthma. The circuit was designed to be completed at the school with the equipment the students have access to, and that included a number of bodyweight exercises. In the second lesson, students were required to assist in analysing their partner's running techniques through the use of huddle technique. This application allows the students to be able to watch the footage in slow motion, zoom and pan the video to see every detail, use drawing tools, and play 2 videos side by side. This assessment allows us as teachers to identify the current knowledge of correct technique and the student's ability to provide feedback to others. According to the Victorian Fundamental Motor Skill Manual, running is a fundamental motor skill where the basic components should be mastered by the age of 9. This, however, does not mean there isn't room for improvement. These lessons align with the Australian National Curriculum for grade 9s and 10s in health and physical education. During this lesson sequence, students are required to provide and apply feedback to develop and refine specialised movement skills in a range of challenging movement situations. They are required to design, implement and evaluate personalised plans for improving or maintaining their own and others' physical activity and fitness levels, and analyse the impact of effort, space, time, objects and people when composing and performing movement sequences. Throughout the lesson sequence, the students received multiple types of feedback. These included visual, verbal, and demonstration. Verbal feedback was constant and ongoing throughout all 3 lessons. This was great for an immediate response and helping the students to be able to make small changes in technique and clarify instructions of any activities throughout the lessons. This often led to further discussion surrounding the overall goal, which was to increase cardiovascular endurance. For verbal feedback, it was important to be descriptive and specific enough to be valuable to the student and provide them direction. As well as visual feedback, there were times throughout the lesson where it was beneficial to use demonstration as a form of appropriate feedback. Providing a demonstration for students gives them an idea of what success, or in this case, correct running technique, looks like. John Hattie states that in order for students to succeed, we need to show them examples of what the finished product will look like to ensure they understand what they are meant to be trying to achieve. I'm going to teach you what Australian rules football looks like, but I'm not going to tell you what the rules are and I'm not going to tell you how to score. How do you use this sport analogy when describing what learning can look like for students? Unfortunately, a lot of students do not have the direction they need to be successful at school because they do not see what their work should look like as a finished product. At the end of each lesson, we allowed 5 to 10 minutes for students to be able to complete a questionnaire about the lesson and the teaching practice that had been put in place. This gave students the opportunity to provide feedback on the content that was being presented to them and how that compared to their expectations coming into the lesson. We're also interested in what they have gained and taken away from the lesson, what the teachers have done effectively, and what areas the teachers need to improve or modify for future lessons.